Speaking of rolling with the homies, who are we rolling with this week, Keith?
We are re-rolling. And by we, I mean you, because I wasn't even there that time. I am there this time for this part, but not for the rest of it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Matt Wolf.
That's right. We are going to re-release the episode that I recorded with Matt Wolf in New York, but shortly before his Emmy-winning doc series on HBO came out called Pee-wee as Himself.
So when you recorded this, had you seen Pee-wee as Himself?
I had not.
Didn't know it was going to win the Emmy?
Did not know it was going to win the Emmy. Knew that it would be great because Matt is a great filmmaker and I am a lifelong Pee Wee Herman fan, so I was very excited. But really, this is a conversation between me and Matt, and we talk about his whole body of work. We talk about the state of documentary. We talk about how we generate ideas. This is a great conversation. It's wide-ranging. We go all over New York. It was one of the highlights of this last year. We're re-releasing it, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thanks for being here. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy this re-release of Matt Wolf and Pee-wee, and we will see you at the end of the episode. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
On your left.
You're listening to Doc Walks with Ben and Keith.
Okay, recording.
Wait, no, I just turned it off. Sorry.
Oh.
I thought that was record.
Let's see. The red one should be record. Let's see.
Did I hold it too long?
I don't know. I'm just getting to know these. So if you just tap it, there we go. And then now you should, yeah, great.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We're
Try not
off.
to hold it like under my face in an unflattering way.
Well, I don't think that's possible.
Oh, shush.
I need to flip this camera around just to see, like, your building
yeah.
is beautiful. It's really wild, this courtyard.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
it's like a Melrose Place. Hey, Mark, how are you? Oh, God. Yeah, it's a Melrose place. I mean, all my friends live here.
That is really incredible.
Yeah, I
Did you
dropped off equipment with actually another filmmaker, Sierra Pettingill,
Okay.
who was dating someone who lived here at the time. And I saw the courtyard because it doesn't look that exciting from the outside. It's like, what is this place?
Yeah.
And then I walked over here because we're in a weird neighborhood in Manhattan that people don't go to.
Yeah, where are we? What is the name
Just
of the
like
neighborhood?
lower east side.
Okay.
And our park is under construction, but I'll take you to a weird haphazard section of the park that we can walk around. And I came back and I stalked the building for years.
Oh,
And
you
then,
did. So
yeah.
you were like, I'm gonna live in this building.
Well, I'm obsessed with the building.
Yeah.
And I over time got other people to move into it. And more friends have now moved into this neighborhood. And so, I have what they call a community, but like, the old school kind where everybody lives together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's commune,
Yeah, you're creating
Melrose
your own
Place
comic.
situation. I'm creating my own NORC, naturally occurring retirement community.
So I guess we should do a setup here. We are walking along the sidewalk here in the Lower East Side, and I'm with Matt Wolf.
Hello.
Hello. You and I met at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
festival journey.
2008, 9. I don't remember.
When
was it?
did Wild Combination come out?
That came out in 2008. So
2008. Okay.
a long time ago.
Yeah, Winnebago Man was 2009.
Yeah,
And then
so
we
we
did
probably met at a film festival around that time.
Yeah. And I've been a long time admirer of your work. When I reached out to you, I told you that Wild Combination is still one of those movies that sticks with me.
Oh.
And I think about how you used archival footage in that, where you were like animating over the top of it.
Yeah.
You know, the poster image is like so strong and kind of seared in my brain.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Arthur Russell was, and he's now, like, his music is such a part of my music listening vocabulary these days that I feel like that film was really inspirational and also like made a big impact on me. And so I've kind of followed your work ever since.
Thanks.
And so you have just made the Pee Wee Herman.
I have, yeah. It's coming out very soon, in the next 2 months.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
And it's on HBO.
it'll be on HBO. Yeah.
And it premiered at Sundance, right?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
We were actually there recording
Oh, I'm
the
forgetting
podcast.
that I'm leading the way.
Yes, you are. I'm following you. I have no idea where we're going.
We're going on my route because my park is under construction, so it's a weird route.
Oh, so you do this walk a lot, huh?
Yeah, I'm a big walker and talker.
Great. Well,
That's
this
what
is
we're doing.
perfect for our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many films have you had premiere at Sundance?
I don't know, between shorts and features, maybe 5.
Cool.
Yeah.
So tell me how you got started. Like, where did you, how did you come to the idea that you could make documentary films for a living?
Well, I have like a weird story with that, in that I was a gay teen activist in the media in the late 90s in Northern California, and there was a documentary made about me.
No
And
way, really?
Yeah.
Where did you grow up? Like, where was it?
I grew up in San Jose.
Okay.
And this is like Matthew Shepard, Ellen DeGeneres coming out time.
Okay.
And it was just being like a gay youth was a hot button issue at the time. And I got like a scholarship, and this short documentary was made about me, and I hated the experience. And then I got written up in the newspaper complaining about the documentary, and the woman wrote me saying, I loved this project and I'm really troubled that you had a negative I was like, I'm a fucking teenager, like I'm just being angsty and complaining, like.
And
So,
how old were you?
yeah, at then I was probably 17
17. Okay.
17 or 18.
And how did they find you? Like, who reached out? Like, what was that process
Well,
like?
I was in the media. I was doing a lot of media for gay youth activism, and I think I applied for a full scholarship from Parade magazine, and now we're walking over a
Yeah, we should
rickety bridge.
explain where we are. This is very
We're in a makeshift
dynamic.
pedestrian bridge to a commuter ferry that links up to the waterfront park near my house that is currently incomplete, but we're going to the part that is open that I like to walk around.
Yeah, this is beautiful. And so this is the East River here,
Yeah,
right?
it's the East River.
Coming up on a very fast-moving tugboat.
Yeah,
Wow.
I love watching that. Well, that's a ferry, but I love watching. Oh, I haven't been over here. I want to see their progress. That was this 70s kind of post-atomic amphitheater, and we hung out there every weekend, and everyone would just meet there. And they raised the park 6 to 8 feet for flood resiliency, and everybody protested, including me. But now, I'm just dying for this park to open. But that's the amphitheater area, and I haven't been on this bridge in a second. And they're like moving fast.
Yeah,
So
they are.
hopefully this summer, I've got my spot back.
It looks like it's going to be pretty nice. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about.
The trees are not mature, so there'll be no shade. But beggars can't be choosers.
Well, okay, so you had a documentary made about you, and did you feel like it didn't represent you accurately?
I was forced to talk in these sound bites, and I think in general, I was feeling like a kind of poster child, and I was good at it, but I thought I'd be like a gay political activist, like a professional gay activist. But I got into independent film. I went to see Welcome to the Dollhouse at the Indie Theater. I worked at the Goth Coffee Shop, and the rest was history. And so I fantasized. Here, we can snake around this part. It's nice.
Okay.
I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to move to New York since I was, 14. No, way younger, like 10. I wanted to be like, Todd Haynes or something. And I got a full scholarship and went to NYU Film School. And then I hated it. I hated NYU, but I met a lot of great people who I will go on to collaborate with. I found a mentor in the filmmaker Kelly Reichardt.
Oh, wow.
And,
Yeah.
you know, at the time, I was sort of anti-school, and I joined this video activist collective called Paper Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Paper Tiger Television.
I remember that, right.
I did a bunch of projects with them, and I got into the experimental film world largely through this festival called the Mix Experimental Gay and Lesbian Film Festival, which has evolved into something else now. But
And to stop you really quick, the Paper Tiger was a public access show.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Was it one show or was it a collective that made a bunch of shows?
It was a collective that did a lot of public access stuff, but other stuff too. And I was involved in helping present films made by queer youth. Like, it was an extension of the activism I did in high school, but in a experimental activist documentary kind of space. So I was going to this mainstream film school, doing this stuff at Paper Tiger, kind of in community with a lot of visual artists and experimental filmmakers. And increasingly it was like, I don't want to make features. I don't want to be that kind of filmmaker. And I, you know, left school with that feeling. But I had these amazing collaborators like Jody Lee Lipes and Lance Edmonds and Kyle Martin. And I wanted to make a film about Arthur Russell. And I thought it would be kind of this experimental video record in which it would be a multi-channel installation, and every channel would be like a different track featuring an aspect of his story. And I started to interview people. And as I was doing it, Jody was like, you know, you're making a documentary. I said, I'm not making a documentary. And he was like, yeah, you are. And then I was like, well, it's not, it's short. He's like, why not? Why isn't it a feature documentary? I was just like, because it's not. And then it was. And I didn't have real expectations or entree into that world, but the film found an audience and people continue to watch it. I'm really lucky that film, that people discover that film. And it's a small little tiny film, but over time, you know, over 15, almost 20 years, here we can walk in a full lap.
Wow. Yeah, this is awesome. Like, so we're suddenly on a soccer field.
Yeah.
Here.
So when we're
They're
doing Tai
walking on the
Chi,
turf.
people have their dogs here.
I'm struck by the fact that you came to this as a fan and not as somebody who was sort of enterprising or trying to like tell a specific story. Like, you weren't saying...
I wasn't looking to, I was searching for what I'd make a film about, and I think there was a particular moment in which I said, this is what I care about, so why wouldn't I make a film about this?
Right.
You know, I think
without...
very intuitive, not like, I had no aspirations to be a documentary filmmaker, but then in retrospect, it kind of brought together all the things
Yeah.
that I was into or things I had been involved with and cared about since I was a teenager. So it made sense, but there wasn't a plan.
Right. And so once you have success with your first film, what's the next step that you take from there?
To try to make a second film was really hard.
And you knew right away, like, I like this, I want to stay with making
I think
feature
I found my
documentaries.
niche. Yeah, I found a niche in which I could be me. And that it became important to me to do stuff that had an audience. I don't think that's what I was thinking about when I made Wild Combination, but when I saw that there was an audience and context for me to show this work, I wanted to continue to participate in that. And I think that I saw a path, but also that by telling a story and doing something that was emotionally involved, that people connected in a more visceral way, and that I didn't come up being like, I'm a storyteller, I want to tell stories. That actually really was not my interest. But I think I realized, okay, when you tell a story and people get involved and they have feelings, like, it's a powerful thing.
Right.
And I think I just realized I had a knack for it and wanted to continue to do that.
Well, so here we are 17 years after your first feature.
Yeah, oh my God.
And I know, isn't that wild to think about? Whenever somebody's like, when did you make Winnebago Man? And I do the math, I always get a little depressed. Because it feels like it was not very long
It's
ago.
funny, I just had a retrospective at this film festival called Big Sky, and it didn't occur to me that it would be this trip, but I did Q&As for everything I ever made over the course of 2 days, and I was like, oh my God, like, so much of my whole life has been consumed in stress about making these films, and I mark all time in my life about when films were being made, and I was like, is that a good thing? I don't you know, it's kind of like the main thought I had is, wow, I remember being in crisis over that, and then being like, oh, okay, and then signing up to do it immediately again.
Right.
You know, like, I associate a lot of it with stress, not joy.
Because again, we were saying this off camera before we started walking, but you know, from where I sit, I look at you as somebody who's extremely successful, and having a retrospective is something that I hope to achieve at some point in my career. And the fact that you've already had that milestone seems
I'm lucky.
really
I've
admirable.
been, I don't know, I feel lucky, and try not to take my opportunity or visibility in any way for granted, but also I work in a modest way, with the exception of the Pee Wee thing, which is in a different realm for me. Like, it's small. So, you know, it's been sustainable, but I'm operating in a niche way.
So talk to me, sort of like walk me through the process. Like, how do you find and become interested in a story that you think could make a good documentary?
I'm always looking, and after a project, if I don't start a new one right away, which is sort of the dream, and I'm doing that right now, it's only happened to me twice, you know, I crash, and then I'm really like, what am I doing? And, you know, really hustle looking for film ideas, and, you know, following the lead of any idea I come up with, and trying to get access and seeing if my interest sustains as I start interacting with real people who are connected to these ideas. And some of those ideas don't stick. I lose interest, and others I kind of feel ambivalent about, but still follow and then get involved. And I think I always had a fantasy that people would bring me stuff, which now they do regularly, but you kind of only really want to do stuff that's my idea. I still want to hear about the other ideas, because you never know, but I've never done one. But I had such a fantasy after Wild Combination that people would come to me with films, and it would be, oh my God, they closed this access point. Oh, we can get out over there. And once that did happen, it wasn't, I think I'm more artist oriented. Like, I want to do my own thing on my own terms.
Right.
I've kind of done stuff for hire film wise, but it's never been the same for me. Oh, it's getting loud.
Yeah, we are walking right underneath. Let me flip the camera around and show. There's that bulldozer right here, and we are underneath
area that's been under construction
bridge
for so long.
Right across.
We're gonna get out of here.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Is this bad for audio? What do you think?
I think it's bad for audio.
How are you feeling at this point in the walk, by the way? Is your arm getting tired?
I'm fine.
Okay, so we were starting to go into it about how you like to work in a very specific way, and I'm curious what that way is. Like, what is your process once you identify an idea and decide that it's worth making a film
really
about?
Connecting with people, like developing relationships that are explicitly connected to an idea, learning from people, meeting other people, pre-interviewing people, looking for archive.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, because I noticed that a lot of your films are about subjects that have a deep wealth of archival material. Is that something that's like a prerequisite for you, or is that something you're actively searching?
It's just
for?
happening. It's funny. It's like, I didn't know Paul Rubens had 1,000 hours of footage in his bedroom.
Wow, 1,000.
I didn't know that
Wow.
going into the commune that created Biosphere 2, that they would have a temperature controlled closet with hundreds of 60 millimeter films and hundreds of tapes and thousands of photos. Sort of like the subject matter, those people lend themselves to that sort of thing.
So the people that you focus on, it seems like they're by and large artists, and that type of personality is the type that will record themselves and have like a, almost like they're making like a visual memoir or something as they're going.
People who think what they're doing matters and are documenting it and hold on to it, and don't necessarily have a plan. That would be a thread.
Okay. Sounds a little bit like you with your first film.
Yeah, it's a little more narcissistic, I think, this idea that you matter, but I agree that what they did mattered. And so, I mean, it takes resources to save all that stuff too, but
Right.
I think like it just so happens that everything I gravitate to has like some monumental archive associated with it. But I do look for those archives, but that reverse engineer thing has never really worked.
Okay.
But I do look and I ask around. And the real thing I hope happens the more films I make is that someone is like, I've got 500 hours of footage. What should I do with it? Like, that hasn't exactly, or maybe it's kind of happened, but not in a amazing way, which that would be the dream.
Right. And so how do you develop, like when you're in an early stage of an idea, and you know, in our business, you have to put together pitch decks,
Yeah.
Proof of concepts or sizzles, even though I hate that term.
Yeah.
How are you going about doing that? Do you raise a little bit of money to go do that, or do you put your own money into developing the materials?
I've never put my own money into anything.
Come on.
No, I haven't.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a rule.
You've cracked the code. This is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think I always was pretty savvy at being like, this is my job. I'm not making significant personal sacrifices beyond my labor in terms of making my labor and my ideas. And I was very poorly and unfairly compensated on certain things, but I signed up for that and agreed to it. But I've never gone into debt, or I don't have a reserve of significant money to spend on other projects. And even for development, I've always asked for money from other people. And, I really see it as like step by step. And the first step is the relationships with people, then the access. And then through that process, having a sense of what the story is. I'm a pretty good and fast writer, kind of writing down what that story is from the point of view of characters. And then, having, in a simple way, a story, the access and the idea, and then trying to find, or in our parlance, attach people who add value to that idea, or who have resources that are different than mine, to make that into a thing that's actually happening. And then when it's a thing that's actually happening, it's easier to get money. That's been my experience. So like piece by piece, making something turn from an idea into a set of relationships with unique access, and then a compelling story, and then adding partners so that something is snowballing and gaining momentum, and that people have the opportunity to get on that train, as opposed to asking for permission to make things. That's always, not always, but that's my philosophy now, at least.
I'm always curious to talk to other, specifically doc filmmakers, about what they're currently thinking about and like what they're inspired by right now as we're walking. Like what's the latest thing that you've read that you're thinking about? What's something that, is an idea that's kind of gnawing at you?
I'm making a new film, so that's what I'm thinking about. I kind of go in and out of absorbing a high volume of material, or like deprivation, not. Although yesterday I saw a movie and went to a talk. But I'm on like a little 2-week break. In fact, I was trying to create a writing project for myself. Look at those, they're cool.
Oh, wow.
And
cool. What are those?
They're playground sculptures that are really cool.
Let's see.
And I started to create all this. I just finished like 40 days of shooting on a new project, and Pee-wee's coming out, and that's a whole thing. And I was just kind of like, why don't you take 2 weeks and not try to make stuff or do things like, and now I'm going to the movies and stuff, but not with the intention of percolating creatively. In fact, I'm trying to consciously not do that for really like 2 weeks. I mean, I have work I'm doing, but trying not to do mentally heavy lifts.
What do you think?
Although that's also 100% untrue, because I just wrote a treatment for a new film I did. So it's, you know.
So you're breaking your fast.
But I was already developing that. I think it's kind of like a struggle for me to, in some ways, like shut up my brain
right
from filmmaking stuff. But I need to, because I'm focusing on a new film. I need to kind of reserve my energy for that while I'll be talking about the Pee-wee film, but that becomes pretty routine, you know.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about your new film? Or
Yeah, it's about the world of soap operas, and I'm behind the scenes at The Bold and the Beautiful. And kind of a frame for the film is the unique family story of this soap opera dynasty that was led by someone named William J. Bell, who's kind of a godfather of soaps and kind of worked with the originators of the genre and created The Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful. And his son today runs The Bold and the Beautiful. So I'm kind of exploring that world through that lens, and it's the first real verite film I've made. I'm having so much fun.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you gain access, and how did you?
Oh, it took years. I mean, my friend was cast on a soap opera. I didn't grow up on them, and I watched and thought it was totally crazy that this genre was so specific. It's been going on for half a century and tens of thousands of episodes. And so I was in LA and I asked, could I get a set visit? And I shadowed this soap director who liked my idea and understood I wanted to do something kind of highbrow, like a reappraisal. And he connected me to everyone in that world. And that world is small. And that's how I came into contact with Brad Bell, who runs The Bold and the Beautiful. And I understood the significance of this family within the industry. And he really started advocating for the film. And we had to go through quite a process. But we have this kind of unprecedented access to film behind the scenes of an on-network television show. So it's a unique situation, but it took several years.
Especially, it's a unique situation now as people are watching less and less of network television.
Yeah.
Things like those legacy shows are becoming
Well, and it's
more and
filmed
more.
in this building called Television City, which you may know in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where The Price is Right and The Carol Burnett Show and Sonny and Cher were filmed. But now CBS has sold the building, and it's sort of this ghost town, except for The Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful.
Wow.
And so the building itself represents that era or milieu of classic television coming to an end.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, I'm really into the new project, and I'm interviewing editors right now and talking through what the post process will be and sharing story insights with them. So I'm really in that, and I don't need to be aggressively brainstorming new ideas, but in some ways I always need to be kind of having that going on in my brain, which it is naturally, but I try. It's less productive when I really force it.
Right. And what do you think, as somebody who is actively raising money and pitching projects, like what is the state of our documentary industry right now?
It's bad out there right now. There are just limited buyers. And I think there's always going to be people who are excited to get involved in films, and that it's a bit of a circuit that you get tapped into if you're actively making work and out there visibly, but that it's a really tough time for most industries, but the entertainment industry and the documentary side of it, which is small, is seriously contracting after a period of rapid expansion and ballooning budgets. And, I think there's not one person in our industry who isn't concerned about the viability of doing what we do the way we've been doing it for the past several years.
Yeah. And so I'm hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm also feeling that personally.
Yeah.
And I am trying to adopt new technologies, do things like this.
Yeah.
Think about how to develop series that could be repeatable YouTube shows.
Uh-huh.
Are you?
I don't think that way.
Interesting. Tell me more. Why?
Because the only thing that's going to work is if I do something the way I always do it. I don't think I think the one thing I might have to adapt to is shrinking budgets in a way in which I've become accustomed to working with people who help me in all sorts of ways, and I might have to do more of that myself and to be paid less. Not that I'm making a ton of money, but I think I'm making a living doing this, and to do that may involve me doing more than I already do, and to accept the limitations of how much money you can make as a documentary filmmaker. And I've always done a bit of commercial work here and there. I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to pursue nonfiction writing, and I'm trying to diversify a little bit, but also I'm very privileged in terms of been given a lot of opportunities to do my thing. And so I try not to think from a standpoint of scarcity, and to just keep my head to the ground, focused on what I'm doing. And if I hit a brick wall, I will pivot, but it's not going to work if I'm trying to reverse engineer what I do to appeal to what is out there. I'm not going to be a true crime guy.
Right.
But, I'm making a pretty poppy film right now that I think will be unexpectedly deeper, but that's kind of what I wanted to do, but it's the right time to be doing something poppier.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it works for what I wanted to do. And I think about my body of work a lot, about a bigger story I'm trying to tell through all the different films I make.
Oh, I love that. Whenever I talk to students, I encourage them to think about that too. It's
Yeah.
It's not the film you're making now, it's the next films you want to make afterwards, and thinking about it as a collective. So how do you view your body of work?
Thematic, formal, just choosing things that feel unexpected. I don't think people would have thought that I would be pursuing a film about soap operas, but it makes a lot of sense. And I think when the film is completed, it'll make a lot of sense. And I've passed on projects that I feel like are repetitive of things I've already done, not only because it's not necessarily going to be challenging or interesting to me, but also because I'm thinking about the collection of what I do and trying to do things that feel surprising to myself and to people who watch my films, and to keep learning new things. But if I'm doing it through my own instincts and attractions, there becomes a kind of continuity through it that I've had enough experience now to see that just happens. That's kind of why I don't want to do other people's ideas.
Hang on, just saying, we are under a very loud bridge. What are we walking under here?
This is the Williamsburg Bridge.
Williamsburg Bridge. So then what is it that keeps you going making this work? We talked about how difficult it can be, how the budgets are shrinking, you're gonna have to work more.
I love doing it. I just love it. I really do. And a lot of people are very greener pastures, I want to do fiction or da-da-da. I don't. I want to do what I do. And it hasn't stopped being interesting to me. It continues to be stressful, but I don't know what it looks like for me not to be making a film. I've been doing it for a while, and I've been doing it since I was 23 or 24. I love doing it, and I just want to keep doing it.
It's interesting. You did get a twinkle in your eye just now saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. It's
sort of perked
real.
up.
I feel lucky that I can do it, and I love doing it.
Yeah.
And I hope that comes across in my work, and I think it's part of how I've been able to get support is I'm very passionate about what I do.
So
I
that's
mean, so is everybody who's making films, but
yeah. You
I
have
think
to.
there is sometimes the tendency to wish you were doing something else. And I don't deal with that. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing.
And that right there is worth the stress that you mentioned and the sacrifice.
Yeah, but I'm
and
obviously, to some extent, not always, but thriving off of that pressure and those challenges. I like to finish stuff.
yeah.
And so I like to keep my eyes on the prize and to problem solve. And I'm getting good at that. And things that would have stressed me out 10 years ago are like a blip. But there's no version of making a film that goes smoothly.
Right. Yeah, my business partner likes to say it's called production because it's always a production.
And also it's just too many moving parts and too many people involved for there not to be real hiccups.
Right. Well, so we're coming up on your building here, and I'm curious to know what your advice to aspiring filmmakers or filmmakers who are just starting out, like what advice would you give them?
I always say the same thing. I'll wait for the train.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I always say that my advice is always the same. You have to finish what you start. If you don't finish what you start, you're not going to make other things. You'll feel defeated or like a failure. And if you finish something and it's not good, that's fine. It's better than not finishing it. And then you're motivated to do it again, to make it better, to learn from mistakes. Or if your first film or whatever you're making is really good, it's encouraging, it's energizing. You want to keep going. I just think you got to finish. Like, I'm very finished oriented, like finishing stuff.
You must have films that you have started and not finished though.
Yeah, but I didn't get very far, and I was trying to assess if I wanted to make them.
Okay.
But once I really get in and I'm doing it, I've never not finished.
Well, we're coming up to the end of our walk. How was this for you?
It's fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Matt, thank you again so much for
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Thank you, Matt Wolf.
Thank you, Matt Wolf.
Thank you, Ben Steinbauer, for doing the heavy lifting on that one. I would have loved to have been in New York, walking my old neighborhoods with you and Matt. You got to see the sights. You got to talk about the things. You were over by the water's edge. Did you catch any boats?
I knew you were going to make fun of me about, what is that, a tugboat?
What is that, a tugboat?
It's very obviously a ferry. What was I thinking? Do I live in a children's book? There aren't just tugboats, just, steaming up and down the East River.
I don't. We're gonna get letters from tugboat captains. I was involved in a documentary about tugboats not too long ago, a couple years ago now. Barge.
Yes, by Ben Powell. I
By
love
Ben
that
Powell,
documentary.
Barge. I was
So I wasn't
some sort.
So I wasn't wrong, is what you're saying. There might have been a tugboat.
There are tugboats in rivers and
Okay.
bodies of water these days still.
Okay. Well, I still felt a little bit like a moron, and I'm glad to let you guys in on the fact that I sometimes feel like a moron.
You guys
And
get a first front row view of what I see all the time. But he's not the only one who feels like a moron, folks. We all do in one way or another. But that's why we get together and create community and find
we talk about it.
commonality.
That's right.
And so, speaking of commonality and community, next time on Doc Walks,
We go to Sundance.
well, we went to Sundance. That's the thing.
We
We'll
go
to Sundance
back
again,
to Sundance.
But next time is a re-release. It's the last of the string of holiday re-releases.
That's right. We are still on a holiday vacation. We are in between Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's, and
in real life here.
In real life, we are re-releasing this highlight from last year, which was us going to Sundance and doing a sort of man on the street episode where we meet lots of our friends, we make lots of new friends, and we trudge through the snow.
It was Ben's first time ever at Sundance. It was the penultimate Sundance in Utah. And we took to the street, we met the people, and we share that with you here in this episode.
And penultimate means second to last, right? Because this year,
Words.
this year will be the last year, and we will also be there to cover that
With cameras this time.
with cameras. This is an audio only episode. We were just using the microphones and not the video cameras for this one. So you're not going to see our pretty faces, but you will hear our beautiful voices.
You'll have to let us know what you think. Please enjoy next week's episode. Sundance, Man on the Streets Revisited, re-release, Redux.
That's right. And this is technically the last episode of the year. So we thank you guys. This has been a great year for us. We hope it's been a great one for you. And we hope that 2026 is the best one yet.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
Happy Doc Walking. Doc Walks is presented, directed, created, edited by myself and this guy.
Hello.
We couldn't do it without co-producer Dayton Thompson.
No, we
who
couldn't. Thank you, Dayton.
continues to knock it out of the park. Thank you, Dayton. And thanks to the folks at the Bear.
The folks at Go Valley, we have a team of interns that are working hard for us.
And thank you for sticking around. If you're still here, you're a diehard and we appreciate you. We'll catch you next time.
On Doc Walks. Follow us at Doc Walks Pod on Instagram, X, and YouTube.